All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to talk about something that's probably adding a ton of stress to your life without you even realizing it. This big mistake we all make of trying to have total control over everything.
I mean, have you ever felt that? That boiling frustration when a perfectly laid out plan just completely falls apart? Maybe it's a traffic jam that makes you late, a project that gets delayed. You know the feeling. It's something we've all been through, right?
Well, that feeling, that friction with reality, it's not just bad luck. Our source material today suggests it actually comes from this one really powerful idea that's driving a lot of our modern stress. And it's this belief that we should be in charge of every little thing.
And this is where things get kind of weird. It leads us into what we can call the control paradox. It's this super strange irony, right? The harder you try to grip life to manage every outcome, the more stressed out and, ironically, the more out of control you actually feel.
So what are we really talking about when we say seeking control? It's not just about, being organized or having a to-do list. It's much deeper. It's this core belief right here, this idea that we can and even should manage every single detail of our lives. And that little word, should, man, that's where all the pressure comes from. And look, this isn't just a you and me thing. This mindset has become a huge cultural trend. Our source calls it a modern tendency, but I think we can go further. Let's call it what it is, our modern obsession.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Believing that life must bend to one's plans. Think about that for a second. Making plans, that's not the issue. The real problem is when we start believing that reality has to follow our script, that the universe owes it to us to stick to our schedule, our spreadsheets, our grand vision.
And when you have that mindset, well, the fallout is pretty predictable. You get this constant, low-level hum of stress. You become rigid, totally unable to roll with the punches. You just end up in this state of permanent frustration, constantly swimming against the current instead of just flowing with it.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Where do we go from here? This is where we make a huge shift in perspective. We're going to talk about the power of acceptance. And let's be super clear, acceptance in this context isn't weakness. It's not giving up. It's actually a massive source of strength. The source material calls this the virtuous counterpoint, which is a great way to put it. It's not about being passive, not at all. It's an active, powerful choice to practice acceptance and to be more flexible. It's like you're changing from a clenched, white-knuckled fist into a relaxed, open hand.
So how do you actually do this? It sounds nice, but what's the practice? Well, the source breaks it down into this really elegant three-step process. First, and this is so important, do your best. See, this isn't about not caring. You still put in all the effort. But then, step 2, embrace uncertainty. You have to accept that you just can't control it all. And finally, the big one, greet change with grace. Instead of fighting it, you learn to welcome whatever comes your way.
All right, let's pull all of this together now. In our final section, we're talking about embracing uncertainty with grace, because this is really where you see the two mindsets, and their results just go in completely opposite directions.
Just look at this side by side. It's so stark. On one side, you have the control mindset. That means rigid plans, tons of stress, and just constantly fighting with how things are. But then look at the other side, the acceptance mindset. You've got a flexible approach, a real sense of inner peace, and you're working with reality, not against it. I mean, these are two completely different ways of going through life.
And that brings us right to the heart of it all. This is the single biggest takeaway from our entire explainer today. Real, true strength isn't about forcing everything to go your way. It's about having the grace and the resilience to adapt. That's where the real power is. So, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Just for this week, where is one little area in your life where you could practice letting go? Maybe just a tiny bit. Something to chew on.